Hi, I'm Jeremiah Mahadevan and you're watching the Practical Motorhome video review of the new double back camper. Now, as you can see, it's a VW T5 based elevating roof camper. Those of you with sharp eyes will notice that this is the pre-facelift T5 transporter, but all the new ones that double back sells from now on will have the new Euro 5 post-facelift base vehicle. It just so happens that this is the first one that they've built. Open up the tailgate and you'll find a huge rear loading area here, which is perfect for storage space when you're on the go. It's big enough that you won't need to mess about with bike racks or even a trailer if you need to store something. But by now you're probably wondering, that's nice and all that storage, but where exactly do I sleep and eat? That's where this van has an ace up its sleeve. Open the sliding door and there's a button down here. Press it and this pod slides out, effectively doubling the living space in this small camper. Now, a long wheelbase VW transporter is 5.92 meters long. This adds an additional 2 meters when you're on site, so you've got a 7.92 meter long van. And as it slides out, electrically, there are 2 electric corner steadies which come down and self-level to ensure that the rear end stays on an even footing. Amazingly, this rear pod weighs only 130 kilograms, and that's because it's made of an aluminium composite material, which, besides being really light, is also really strong. So, when it's extending, this thing can hold up to 300 kilograms, and when it's all the way out with the legs down, it holds 600 kilograms. And, here's my favorite bit, the tailgate still works. As you can see, there's a bed here, which folds up against the sides when you're using this as storage. And you can keep using this as storage even when you're on site because there's another drop-down bed up in the roof. Inside, you've got a functional layout that's surprisingly spacious. You've got a 3-person bench seat here and a single seat over here, and they both flip up when the back is in. And there's a lounge table that goes here and which stows under the drop-down bed when it's not in use. It's actually a really nice area. You can sit here and look out of the view of the sliding door, and over here you've got a basic kitchen, but which covers all the bases. There's a 2-burner hob and a sink and a compressor fridge over here which runs on 12 volt. Now, you can sleep 4 people in the double back thanks to the double bed at the back and the drop-down bed up top here. But as you can see, there are only 2 single seats in the cab and there aren't any single seats anywhere else, so you can only travel with 2 people. However, you can specify this van with a double seat here on the passenger side and the single driver's seat so that you can travel with 3 belted passengers and sleep 4 people. And that's the double back. It costs just under £55,000 new, and it's unlike anything else on the market. It's so unique, in fact, that it's being built by a race engineering firm who have partnered with Doubleback, and when they're not building open-wheeled, carbon fiber-bodied racers, they'll be making these things.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Motorhome channel. Now imagine, if you will, that you're a horse. You spend most of your life in a field, but every now and again you need to go to a race or a gymkhana or some other event where you're expected to perform at your very, very best. Well, you don't want to travel up the motorway in some tatty old trailer towed behind an ancient Land Rover. You want to travel in style. And when you get to where you're going, you want to be able to get out and relax. Perhaps make yourself a cup of tea or even watch television. Of course, if you are a horse, you won't have a driving license, will you? So you won't be able to get to where you're going. You need humans. So if you are a horse, you can switch off now. This bit is for humans only. And I think you humans are going to love what I'm going to show you. Have a look at this. Well, the horses live down there. Us humans live up here. And look at it. It's very, very spacious, which is good because it's designed for 4 people to live in. This seating area pulls out to become a bed, and there's another bed up here. Look at that. That's what you call an overcab bed. It's very, very nice. It's got lights at both ends, as well as windows at both ends. Very sensible indeed. There's plenty of room for sitting down and lounging after a hard day at the races. And of course, at that time, you may feel that you want a beer. In which case, no problem, because there's a beer fridge right there. Ah, but I hear you say, I don't like beer, I want a glass of wine. No problem. There's a wine cooler right here. There's a fridge down there and a freezer. There's a microwave oven. There's a proper oven and a hot plate here. And loads of food preparation area. No hamburgers, please. Look at this. The TV is a 40-inch model and of course it's 3D. Now then, the thing about the habitation side of this vehicle is the sheer attention to detail. It's incredible. To prove my point, look at this. 5 remote controls and each one with its own individually crafted holder. I have never seen that before. Mind you, I've never seen 5 remote controls before. Let's go downstairs. Oh look, a vertical toast rack and it's heated. What a great idea! And here is the bathroom. Well, it's not often that I'm lost for words looking at a bathroom, but this is where the horses live. And there's a lock on the door so they can't come in. Let's go and look at the front of the vehicle. Sitting in the driver's seat is a little imposing. There are knobs, buttons, switches everywhere, but of course this is a Scania truck. Having said that, it's surprisingly easy to drive, thanks largely to the fact that the gearbox is fully automatic, and there are huge mirrors which give you great visibility all around, and of course a rear view monitor. It's comfortable as well because the seat is fully air suspended. It really isn't that difficult to drive. How much does it cost? Well, for a truck like this, you can expect to pay anything between £250,000 and £500,000. But think about it. If your horse wins the Grand National, money well spent.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah Mardaven from Practical Motorhome magazine, and behind me is the Swift Escape 696, which is Swift's only addition to its budget escape range for 2011. Now, it's an overcab coach built, as you can see, with 2 transverse bunk beds in the rear, a big lounge for 6, which turns into a double bed, and a double bed in the overcab, obviously, which makes it a great 6 berth with 6 traveling seats. If you're in this segment of the market, we think you're really going to like what you see when you see this, so let's go have a look. It looks broadly the same for 2011 as it did in 2010. It's still got the characteristic blue cab, but they've tweaked the graphics, made them a bit more integrated with the habitation, and we think it looks better this year. On the outside, you've got a clever locker which has the leisure battery and the hookup point inside it. You've got a nice wide waste drain valve. You've got a garage door on the far side, and you've got, well, in this one, which has the comfort options pack, you've got this electric step which it retracts automatically when you drive away. There's also a standard issue LED awning light. So all in all, it's fairly well equipped for a van in this price range. In a van less than 7 meters in length, it can be really difficult to accommodate 6 people in the lounge comfortably, particularly when some of those people are children and this van's designed to carry children. However, Swift have done a really good job here. That side-facing seat is very comfortable. The backrest is slightly low for adults, but for children it's a great place to romp. This dinette will accommodate 4 adults in comfort, and if you want to include that side-facing seat in the dining arrangement, all you have to do is slide out this table extension, which clicks into place there. Now, we're not sure whether it should click into place because that makes it difficult to move back and forth, but that allows you to include 2 extra people in those seats when you're dining, and makes this a full proper 6 berth. Another thing is that this table bolts to the floor, which is both safer and more comfortable when you're on the move, because you won't have this table rattling or moving around, and if you braked, it won't move suddenly towards any of the passengers. Those passengers will be seated in these 4 seats. There's 2 over there and 2 over here, and you don't have to do much to get them ready to move. The seat belts are ready to go, and they stay out of the way when you're lounging, so you don't have to move them around. That's a big plus point in a van where you're carrying 6 people around all the time. So all in all, this is a great space, and we like what Swift have done here. The overcab bed is obviously a favourite place for children who are spending the night in a motorhome. Now this one, which is mounted on pneumatic struts, so it rises really easily and it's easy to pull down as well. It's not the most spacious we've seen. It's great for 2 kids, but we think it's just about big enough for 2 adults as well. One of the things we really like is that Swift has splurged a little bit on a window on that side and a reading light on this side, which in a van at this level of the market is quite unusual, so that's a great thing. There's also a safety net here, which stops you from falling out of bed at night. And to get to the bed, you use this ladder, which is quite long. Normally, it would live on the bed itself when you're on the move. You get it in place like that, and once it's there, it's fine. The only problem is that when it's set up, you can't get this lounge bed made up. So in the middle of the night, anyone who's up here who wants to get to the washroom is going to have to step down onto the lounge bed, being careful not to disturb the people who are sleeping there, and get through to the washroom. But in a van this size, which carries this many people, that kind of compromise is really unavoidable, so we can't really fault them for that. If you're using the 696 as a family van and traveling with 3 or 4 children, then this is most likely where you'll end up spending the night, because the overcap bed and the 2 bunk beds at the back are more suited to the kids. It's a good thing then that this lounge bed is easy to make up, really spacious and really comfortable. All you have to do to set it up is to lower the lounge table and pull across the 2 base pieces to this seat. And then you put in one fill-in cushion, rearrange all the lounge seat cushions, and well, you've got it. One thing we really like about this design is that this seat actually has 2 base pieces which lift up independently of one another. That makes it both easier to access the storage underneath the seats and to pull it across to make up the bed. The kitchen has to be good in a van that houses 6 people, and luckily the 696 has got a great one. You can see it's got loads of workspace over here, a nice big deep sink, and a 3-burner hob over here which has got ignition, so you don't need to have matches handy or a separate igniter. It's also got an oven down here which is big enough, we think, for 6. And it's well equipped as well, it's well designed. It seems like a kitchen from a van in a higher price bracket. For example, in these lockers up here, you've actually got racks for your dishes and things like that. And over here, you've got a cutlery drawer, and we like this a lot. Down here, you've got a drainer and a chopping board, which fit nicely over the sink like that. So all in all, it's a great kitchen. The rear bunk beds are really clever. Firstly, you've got this ladder here, which is fixed here all the time, so there's no need to move it around, there's no need to faff around with, stowing it when you don't need it and stuff like that. Now, this might look like one bed, that's because it is. This is the top bunk, and the lower bunk is down here. Right now it's in storage mode, so it's being used as a garage, but if I push aside these partitions here, you'll see the bed base down there, that flips down, and you put in the mattress fill-in bits, which live quite happily here when you're not using them. And there you go, you've got 2 bunks. That means you don't have a garage, but you've still got storage under that lower bed, so you've still got something. This motorhome is 6.92 meters long, and since it's meant to accommodate 6 people, something's got to give, and in this case, it was the washroom. Now, it's not a terminal fault, since in a van with 6 people, you probably wouldn't want to have a 6-person queue for the washroom anyway, and a lot of people will be using the site facilities. But it's got quite a lot of space here at waist level. Unfortunately, it sits right over the wheel arch, so there isn't much foot space at all. Also, they've cut back on GRP use in the washroom, so in order to shield the wood and some of the walls from the water, they've got a shower curtain. It's not ideal, it's a bit fiddly, but at this end of the market, it's fairly common. Other than that, it works just fine. The sink is good and deep, and there's quite a bit of storage for your toiletries, so it works, it's just pretty small. Just forward of the washroom is this really spacious wardrobe. It's not lit, but it's big enough for 6, and below that is the Truma heating unit, which works on hookup and on gas, and to get access to the heater, you can get in through this hatch here. There are 2 problems with this motorhome. The washroom's a bit small, and this space between the kitchen and the washroom are a little bit narrow. Other than that, for this price, you aren't going to find a motorhome that does this job of carrying 6 people as good as the Escape 696. It costs £37,500 just about on the road, and for that money, you are getting a really complete package, which is well built, looks good, and has really thoughtful features which let you carry 6 people without much hassle. It's just an amazing motorhome for the price.
Slovenian manufacturer Adria has been building motorhomes for more than 30 years. It's one of the leading import brands here in the UK, both in terms of the number of motorhomes it sells and the size of its dealer network. Behind me is the Twin SPX, a new model for 2014. The 640 SPX features a rather interesting layout. It has an L lounge up front, a transverse double bed across the rear, but perhaps the main talking point is its rather unique central washroom. It is a layout we've seen before in Globe car van conversions, but we'll look at it in detail later in this piece. On site in the 640 SPX, the cab seats swivel to join in the lounge area. It's a split floor area so that occupants of those cab seats won't find their legs dangling as they can in some van conversions. There's a two-seater bench in the rear L lounge, which is forward facing, as you can see. It has two 3-point seat belts also. The backrest is sculpted to support your lower back, whether you're on site or whether you're on the road. In order to convert the L lounge for travel, you need to remove the side sofa section. It's quick and easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. It's as simple as removing the seat squab cushion, folding back the supports, and folding down the seat base. And voila, more leg room for the near side passenger. The lounge table is on a fixed leg. The tabletop slides like so, so all 4 occupants can seat around it more easily at dinner times. It also lowers like so, right down to form part of the bed base for the lounge bed. Another little interesting feature, these spotlights can flip down and become directional. Now you note the twins sliding entry door is on the UK driver's side, not the UK near side as for UK built van conversions. This may pose an issue for some potential buyers who will be happy with their passengers potentially alighting into traffic. Now the door has 2 stop positions, fully open like so and partly open like so. The kitchen is on the offside, and as you can see it's pretty basic to the point of being pretty minimal really. There are 2 gas burner hobs, doesn't come with a spark ignition as standard, and there's a nice square kitchen stainless steel sink. There's also acres of storage space thanks to these soft shut drawer units. The 640 SPX's extra long wheelbase allows you this rather unique feature of a central washroom and a much bigger fridge freezer. The washroom area is walk-through, as you can see. It has 2 tambour doors, one on the bedside and one on the front lounge side. So you can effectively turn it into an ensuite washroom for the bed area or for the lounge area. Together, when they're both closed, it turns into a shower unit. The swivel head toilet is on the near side, as is the basin. It's a really clever little space. Open the SPX's rear doors and you have a massive load bay. You have these robust tie down points and this partition door. You hinge through 90 degrees, fix it like so, and it separates the load bay from the living space. At night time, simply unclip this buckle and the entire bed base and mattress folds down to make this lovely, flat, sleeping surface. So in summary, the twin 640 SPX's extra long wheelbase has allowed the designers to create a layout that is both comfortable as a camper and versatile as a load carrier. It's a really clever overall solution.